Hi everyone, welcome back to Driving with Dan. I'm Daniel, and today we're driving back to work again. I've had a great weekend away. It was a long weekend for me, so it's Tuesday today, and hopefully you've liked the short videos that I've made over the weekend, with the adventure that we had going to Townsville. It probably wasn't very much of videos, but I enjoyed making the shorts, which is all that's really I do this for. So, and it was a good weekend. We went with Kimberly's parents. It was very fun actually. We went up to Brick HQ. We did a bit of shopping. There was other things that we would have probably liked to do, like maybe go up to Castle Hill and stuff like that, but yeah. I'm sorry that there wasn't like any chatting or any talking into the camera, but I just thought about it, and then I'm like, you know what, I don't really want to right now, so that was cool. There was this question that I got asked in the YouTube comments, and it was, what's my favorite 5 movies and what's my favorite 5 games? So top 5 games, top 5 movies. I should have probably thought about these answers before driving, so that I don't just sit here and reading but that's okay. So number 5 would have to be, I'll give it to Skyrim. I really like Skyrim. It's just a great game where you go exploring, and it's just like an open world, and then there's like the most amazing modding community where they've added you can change some of the enemies into Thomas the Tank Engine, and just adding a bizarre range of everything and anything to the game. Even sometimes they're super serious mods where it's make this world beautiful, I think was one of them, and it's everything just changes, and it's sort of very great game. Highly recommend. Another game, number 4, I'll give it to Saints Row the series, because they're usually, I won't just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just say that Saints Row the series is my top in the 4 game. Oh, I'm hiccuping / burping. It's my top 4, my number 4 top 4 games. Saints Row 4, really. Saints Row 4. I do love Saints Row 4, but I would say the Saints Row series, because I do love all the Saints Rows. They've definitely gotten more and more crazy. Basically, I'll explain Saints Row 4. It's basically this wild, crazy adventure where you're just doing all sorts of wild things. It's not like a typical run around and shoot people adventure game. It's open world where you I think you're in a gang, but you are in a gang. You're called the Saints. That's why it's called Saints Row. Well, actually, I don't think it's that at all. I'm fairly sure it's Saints Row. Anyway, regardless, I think that it's a great game where it's open world. You can do what you want, drive any car you want. It's just great fun. That's really silly. And the game, I still think the game's quite pretty. The game graphics, probably not as good as GTA 5, but it's still quite nice looking. Top 3 game. I'm going to do an old one and say Red Alert 2. Red Alert 2 was such a great game growing up for me. I remember going around a friend's house and we played till death, and we've just had some great fun with that game. Really old game. I haven't played it for a long time, but I'm definitely going to put it up there on my list of great games that I've played. Basically, what Red Alert 2 is, it's a strategy game where you build up a base and an army, and I've just realised the car number plate in front of me is 666, so that's pretty cool. I'm driving behind the devil. As long as I don't do anything too devilish, it's alright. Coming back to Red Alert 2, it's a strategy game where you build a base and you build up your army, and then you go and take out the enemy. It's just a very straightforward, but the way there's so many different ways you can just build up a mass army of just tanks, or just battleships, or just conscripts, or just engineers. You could build 1,000 engineers and just walk them all in. But you know, it's a very fun game, very clever game, and I really like it. So, and there is strategy to it. Don't think there's no strategy. There's a lot. If you really want to get strategic, you really can. I'm sure there's a lot more strategy to it than I actually know. I just played it for fun. My number 2 game I'm going to give to the Legend of Zelda series. Definitely my number 2 favorite series. I really love the Legend of Zelda anything. I feel like it's not that I've gone away from it more as I've gotten older. It's I just feel like I haven't got as much time to play them, because I'll say that I've recently started playing Majora's Mask. I did play it when I was younger, but I've recently started playing it on the 3DS, because, you know, I've been playing all these other things plus not enough time, so I've only just recently started. The game's been out for like probably a year and a half, probably longer, or maybe a bit less, but it's been out for ages, and I've only just I bought it like before, you know, when it first few weeks it came out. I bought it being like, oh, I can't wait to play this. Never got around to it, but yeah, so that's I've got that game, Majora's Mask. Oh, most of the other games as well. I think I'll be missing. I'm sure I'll be missing a couple of them, but I've got most of the main games. Even on the 3DS, I've got most of the virtual ones where you've got the virtual console. I've got them mostly on there as well. Most of them on there as well. My number 1 favorite game would have to be Pokemon. I really love Pokemon. Like, it's a great game. Like, the strategy in that game I really enjoy. Like, it is very fun. Even, like, I won't say that the main stories are amazing. You know, most games I don't actually play for the story. Like, Legend of Zelda is probably one of the very few games that I played for the story, and it wasn't even. I won't even say that I played them for the story, because sometimes their story is always the same thing. You know, bad guy takes person. You must rescue person from bad guy. Oh no, bad guy was not bad guy, but just puppet of bad. You know, like, it's always a very typical story. You know, but that's just like a lot of, you know, hero saves princess scenario. But yeah, I really love Pokemon. You know, it's a great, like, I'm the hero of my own adventure sort of game, where if you really wanted to, you don't have to beat the gyms. You could stay in the first town, training up your Pokemon for hours if you so desire. You could, you know, like, I remember reading on the internet about people that were playing the game, and they were saying, I'm not leaving a certain area until I've caught every single one of that from that area. And I'm like, you know, you play it how you want to play it, you know, and that's what I really like about some of these games. It's not restrictive to the way that you want to play. If you want to go and if you want to run around and, you know, catch all the things, go for it. You know, you don't have to be, you know, confined. Well, you still are confined. Like, some areas will not let you go unless you have certain gyms. Yeah, like, I think that's okay. You know, I think that's still a good thing. You know, I know that Sun and Moon's coming out, and the way that you played that is apparently going to be different. So I'll be interested to see what that looks like. But because I don't think there's any gyms in that one, so that could be more of an open world where, you know, you still have to walk around to the confines of, you know, the way the game flow goes. But if you know, you might be allowed to go to any town nearly whenever, you know, because that might just be the way the game works, which would be really interesting. I feel like the game will be a lot less linear if it does that, and it could be also quite confusing though as well. You know, new world. Anyway, those are the games that I really enjoy. Like, I really find that those like, I love lots of games, you know, those aren't just my favorites, you know, I don't only just play those. I've tried out a lot of different games, you know, they're all very fun, but, you know, I particularly enjoy those games that I would recommend to others. These are, if someone was to say, what 5 games would you recommend me playing? Those would be definitely ones that I'd say, hey, give them a go. Some may be old, some, you know, you might have to get a new computer to run. Probably not anymore, but, you know, those would be the 5 particular games that I would say, hey, give these games a go. My top 5 favourite movies are, in any order, I'll go Lord of the Rings. I like the Lord of the Rings, the series, including The Hobbit. You know, it's a great set of movies. You know, it really does retell most of the books, and the books were pretty good too. I think the books were better, but the movies are pretty darn good. You know, I reckon they are pretty darn good. I would have to say that Star Wars would be another one of my favorite genres or series of movies. That's not that I've seen the TV show, the Attack of Clones, whatever. There's a animated TV series. I haven't seen that, so I don't speak for that, but I really like their movies. I thought the movies were very good. The latest movie was very good. Another one that I really like is the Harry Potter series. Very muchly enjoy Harry Potter, the series, all of them. I don't know about the Cursed Child, because I think that's a play, so I'm not going to count that as a movie, and I haven't even seen it, or read the book. But I'll count all the movies that are currently out as of today. I think there's 7 of them, 8 of them, something like that. It's like a 3-part movie or a 2-part in there. I haven't watched them for ages. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed them. The story was pretty okay, you know. I'm going to say Johnny English. Johnny English is a hilarious movie with Rowan Atkinson in it. He plays basically the English spy, and he's like an idiot, and it's just such a great movie, because even though he's still like the worst spy and he doesn't always get exactly what's going on, he still gets the job done in the end, and I think that's the best bit, you know. It doesn't matter, like, if you're going to take anything away from Johnny English, it's that even if you're not the best at something, if you just keep trying, you're still going to succeed, you know, while you just keep giving it your best. You know, that's something that's probably not what you're meant to get from it, but that's what I get from that movie. Yeah, and it's really funny. And the other movie I'm going to say is Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest is a movie about these people who are TV show like actors, and they play this TV show like when they're on a spaceship, like Star Trek or something, but it's just a TV show. So they're actors that are playing as actors, which is hilarious. And then they get beamed up to this real life version of their own ship, and like everything is real that they've been talking about, like, and it's just hilarious. Like this TV show actually got like the majority of the things right, and you know, I just think it's hilarious the way that everything's going. So, and it's just a great movie because it sort of puts a spin on everything that's been going on. So yeah, those would be my top 5 movies. Like, yes, some of them are series, and you know, I can't really pick like an individual one and say, oh, I really like Harry Potter 3. It was definitely better than, like, I don't want to be like that. I like that whole series. I like the whole Lord of the Rings. I liked all of the Star Wars. You know, some better than others, but you know, those would be my top 5 movies. So yes, hopefully that answers your questions. I know there was a few more there, but those are the only ones I can remember off the top of my head. Okay. So for the rest of the week, I'll probably just like keep answering like a couple of questions, like 1 or 2 questions, and just be talking about what's going on. So obviously, like, if you have any more questions, you know, feel free to ask them. You know, all my questions, you know, I'll get through them. Like, some days I'll try and do a couple more. Some I probably won't take so long on. It all depends on like how many questions I have or what the question is. Like, if you said, what's your middle name, I'll be like, it's this. You know, it's all like those. Some questions will just be subject to like a second answer, and some of them, like the movie quotes, they'll take a bit longer. And I think, you know, that's the thing. Like, you ask me a lot of questions, I'll try and get through a lot of them, you know, and maybe I might even try and remember them better. So don't fret over whether or not I answer all your questions straight away, or whether it might take me a couple of days. You just keep asking those questions and I'll get through them as soon as I can. But I'm fairly sure one of the other questions was something along the lines of, do I think that violence in video games or violent video games affects people in real life, or something like that? Sorry if I've butchered that question, but I'm fairly sure it's something like that. I would say in my experience, no. And I'm sure that there's a big opinion on this, and just remember that is my opinion. I would say no, flat out no, because I don't find that I myself am particularly violent. Like, I haven't played the most violent games, you know, but I've still played games where you're in a first person's perspective, you walk around with your gun and you run up and you stab people and you're shooting people, you get your sniper rifle out. It's called Counter-Strike, if you haven't guessed which game I'm talking about. Counter-Strike's the best one, hashtag the best. You know, so I just think that, you know, like Call of Duty and all those games like that, or Battlefield, you know, those are also other first-person shooter games where you run around and you shoot people. But I don't find that I want to go and pick up a gun and shoot people. You know, I've played games like GTA and Saints Row where you steal cars and, you know, you're punching people's brains in and things like this. I still don't find myself looking at a car and think, oh yeah, that looks easy to steal. I think if anything, games have given me a better reflex. You know, they've given me better, you know, they've helped with my problem solving, because I've played a lot of problem solving games as well. So I would say it's given me more of a positive boost than a negative boost. Alright guys, so I'm going to go now. I hope you've enjoyed my rambling. If you want to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, go for it. You know, leave some comments down below about different questions you want to ask me, or just talk in general. I will try and respond to your comments. You know, like, hey, I'm all down for reading comments and talking over the internets. You know, like me on Instagram and tweet at me on Twitter. You know, I'm down for all those things. So guys, I'm going to leave it here, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.